The tragedy that I endured was on December 6, 1984, my 14-year-old daughter, Gloria Pointer, was brutally raped and murdered on her way to Harry Davis Junior High School. During the time that Gloria was brutally raped and murdered, my love for God did not waver. You see, prior to her homicide, I had had a God experience. I came to know Christ in 1975. He saved me from a horrible life. And I had that God experience. That was in 1975. So when she was murdered in 1984, I knew God personally. I knew that He would help me. I knew that He was a mind regulator. I just had never had the experience of something like a homicide. So it actually didn't drive me away from God. It brought me closer to God. The lowest point that I experienced during her homicide was the length of time that it took before we knew who murdered her. It was 29 years before an arrest was made, and I was fasting and praying and seeking God and doing service and everything, just asking God to help me to tell, because I had made a commitment to her after her homicide that I would find out what happened to her. So I think the lowest point was, with all the work that I was doing through Christ, that we still did not know. The way that I found purpose and hope was one night when I felt as if I could not take it anymore. And I just was crying out to God to come and get me. I just wanted to leave. I'm not talking suicide, but I did not want to live. I'll be honest about that. And I just kept saying to God, please come and get me. And I would say, I don't have a reason to live. I just kept repeating that over and over. I don't have a reason to live. And God said to me that night, then I will be your reason. Just like that, I'll be your reason. And He started giving me purpose through service to others. And I can tell you today that service is what saved my life and gave me hope. And to this day, is still what gives me hope. What has been the hardest part is that in this world, children are still being raped, children are being murdered, children are being molested. Even with all the praying and all the service and all the sacrifices, the hardest part that is still continuing. And it's something that I would like to see not happen, because no child deserves to be brutally raped and murdered. The inspirational ministry impacted my journey because during this process, there's some nights that I can't sleep. And for some reason, I'm watching that channel. And I love watching the testimonies of the inspirational ministries, and particularly when Mike Murdoch comes on. And when they were encouraging us to sow the $58 a month and sharing all of the testimonies, I just felt in the middle of the night compelled to get up and write the check and to type up what my prayer request was. And when I sowed into the ministry in 2012, this case that was not solved for 29 years was miraculously solved. And 10 years with Amanda Berry and Georgina de Jesus missing, after sowing into the ministry, miraculously they were found. So I just believe that we serve a miracle-working God. And what the best thing about this is that He's proven Himself once again. I personally believe that God did hear and answer prayer. It showed me that not only if you sow a seed, but you sow a seed in good ground, that God will hear and answer your prayer. Now, sometimes people say, well, you don't have to do that in order to get a blessing. I don't know what you have to do. I just know that what happened. So I know for a fact in my heart that the inspirational ministries played a huge role in that case being solved. My purpose in life is to take the pain and to provide hope and inspiration to others. I believe that as long as there's life, there's hope. In Proverbs, it says, hope deferred maketh the heart sick, but when the desire comes, it is as a tree of life. So I know for a fact that I have this purpose to say to people, look on me and live. If I can get through that, you can too. And not only did Gloria's case be solved, I had an opportunity to go to death row and to meet with and pray for the person who murdered my daughter. So I know for a fact my purpose in life is to provide hope to the hopeless. This is Yvonne Pointer, and I wanted to say thank you again to Inspirational Ministries.